Hi everyone, my name is Elit, co-founder of Mnemonic AI, where we create advanced customer intelligence. Today, I want to talk a little more about customer development. Customer development is one of the essential pillars for the lean startup methodology, receiving massive traction after the book by Eric Ries was published. It is described as the intermediate step of the process, preceded by designing the business model and followed by agile engineering, with the clear goal of understanding the customers and the problem you're trying to solve. Let's talk about the reason for customer development. This approach applies to startups and giant corporations such as Dropbox, Zappos or General Electric, aiming to shorten product development cycles and discover if a business model is viable. Surely you have heard that the main reason why startups fail is that they are building something nobody wants. Here's a small visualization and a list of the top 10 reasons for failure based on research from 100 First Hits. So 36% of companies fail because they're building something nobody wants. So a problem mindset is vital. And the reason why those 36% of the startups fail is because the founders focus on a solution mindset rather than a problem mindset. Also, Donald Miller, author of the book Building a Story Brand, describes the key to building a successful brand is starting with the villain when telling a story. The villain creates the problem, and you should focus on that problem in the beginning rather than introducing the solution right away. You're not the hero of the story, your customer is. The center is always the customer and their pain. However, many startups focus purely on the solution and their technology. To succeed, there needs to be a shift towards a problem mindset and put the customer at the center of this endeavor. And this is where customer development plays such an essential role. Based on research done by McKinsey, only 17% of product introductions are successful because most companies follow a traditional product development process. And the truth is, in most cases, following this system will lead to failure in such a massive way that it causes trauma and huge irreversible problems. So, I want to introduce you to the dual core concept. The ideology of customer development counters this vicious circle created by the godfather of lean startup, Steve Blank, and demonstrates innovation development as two separate cores. The execution engine is the waterfall engine, reflecting the big corporation you will become one day, or maybe already are. So you will have long development cycles and big budgets. However, when planning to innovate, you need to be part of a smaller and agile core called a search engine, exploration engine, or a startup engine. This engine has its own rules of engagement and metrics, with the only goal of finding a repeatable and scalable business model. Once you know that the solution solves a real problem and has a market, you enter the execution phase, knowing what needs to be done and for whom. While in the exploratory phase, looking for a product market fit or problem solution fit, you must embrace the fact of not knowing. Admitting that provides freedom and room for experimentation and is the basis for proper customer development and business success. We'll be now looking at the 4 steps of customer development. The first is customer discovery. The focus is lying on testing different hypotheses and understanding customer pains, problems, and needs. Customer validation. In this stage, you introduce your solution and begin to develop replicable and scalable business models and sales models. The third one, moving into the execution engine, it's all about growth hacking and customer creation. You start creating and pushing user demands to scale sales. And the last phase, the company building, is basically you transition the organization from one created for learning, discovery and validation to a smooth running engine aiming for execution and longevity. When we follow the concept of the dual core innovation system, we see that customer discovery and validation is only part of the search phase, which is the goal of building your innovation in line with your customers. So now let's look a little closer at the search states, so customer discovery and validation. While in search, customer development is split again into two phases, customer discovery and validation. We first tackle problem-solution fit, discovering who is your customer and what is their problem, and the solution remains irrelevant at this point. After realizing who the customers and their pains are, you move into the customer validation stage, where you test your hypothesis, introduce the solutions to the problem. When you insert your product into that process, you can validate if it impacts the problem-solution fit you discovered initially, and whether there is a product-market fit. In summary, customer discovery is when you find problem-solution fit, whereas customer validation is where you find product-market fit. It is widespread that organizations directly go to customer validation without focusing on customer discovery first. Within the following list of goals for customer discovery, many choose number 5 and their first pick because they see it as an identification of the problem, or going to the waterfall approach of number 2, so running focus groups and lengthy research. Here's the list. But I think after what I said before, it is clear where my focus, or where the focus should be. It should be number 3. Learning what the customer's problem is, rather than what the customer wants or what he's willing to pay, but what is paining them right now. Identifying prospects with the most significant pain are those who will use your product first and are eager to test it, even though it's not flawless. This customer group will be engaged with your product and provide the insights required to optimize your solution. So the entire approach can be summarized in one sentence: fall in love with the problem, not the solution. Now let's take a closer look at the execution stage, so growth hacking and company building. The execution stage can be described as the transition from a startup to real business, because you validate your solution and begin the iteration or the initiation into the market. You start to market the solution, test different channels and sales strategies, and potentially fine-tune the solution based on additional insights gathered. You will continue to carefully listen to customers and investigate how the market is behaving after the solution is introduced. Your goal is to guarantee a sustainable business with growing demand and less to explore at this point. Once you prove that the business can handle growth and captured all the learnings and insights, you move over to the company building stage. You will begin structuring departments, enhance the product, execute marketing and sales plan, and scale the solution. Also in this phase, most economic resources are consumed because you need to invest heavily in creating the fundament for strong growth in the future. Maybe a final remark for applying this approach to large corporations. Some of you might have worked for or with large companies, and you surely know the pain of silo thinking and lack of flexibility and speed. And this is why markets have seen a massive growth in so-called innovation groups or frontrunners within those organizations. These teams are often detached from departments and have their own budgets and lean structures to allow corporations to bring back the speed into their business. These teams usually operate in the search engine, testing new technologies like AI, or work with startup accelerators to create proof of concept within a few months. Their goal is discovering and validating new business opportunities as well as areas for improvement. Last but not least, as you've seen, persona creation is the core of our AI. So we want to emphasize the importance of dynamic personas for customer development. The world is changing constantly, especially over the past years. We all are not the same what we were 5 years ago. Our perspectives change, our desires and needs change, and we evolve in different ways, and products and solutions need to evolve together with us. Many articles emphasize that personas must be dynamic and change along your business journey. Creating personas once and try to market to them for 10 years in the same way will lead to failure. Your product and customer communication must pivot to stay relevant for the market. If you want to learn more about dynamic personas, check out the article on our websites or the video we did on that. So therefore, it is fundamental to continuously keep customer development in the search engine to question your business model. The core of personas should be the needs and pain points the customers currently face rather than demographics. Ideally, the personas also reflect the customer cluster size to identify the group with the most significant pain. This is the user group you want to focus on initially because they are eager to work with you to find a solution for their problem. Many argue that it is incredibly challenging to build these personas before you have an actual customer simply because of the lack of internal data. However, with the fast digitalization, gathering external data through social listening or running small ad campaigns without even having an actual product is straightforward. Once you identify this group, you can take customer discovery further and enrich the personas with insights from customer interviews or surveys. It will enable you to validate whether your solution is the right fit for them, whether it needs pivoting, and if there is an addressable size market, irrespective of being a startup or a corporate who's planning to launch a new product. Also, the dynamic personas are a critical tool to transition your company from the search stage to the execution stage. Irrespective of, as I said, being a startup or an innovation team within a corporation, personas will help to deliver the insights to those who need to execute them. Product development will know which features are required, whereas marketing and sales receive a clear overview of the customer segments, their needs and pains, as well as the right strategy on how to market to them. So I hope this video, you found this video interesting. If you have any questions, remarks, dump them down in the comments or reach out to us, and I'm really looking forward to speak to you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.